No, Void had a pretty good game. All of them had a good game across the board for Ground Zero. But then when you move on to the other two maps that they played on Mirage and Nuke, like in particular, Extinct and Burn really started to have a bit more of a struggle across the series going up against Grayhound. So we're going to need to see key players performing and then also, you know, those other three players putting in consistent performances because Greyhound's firepower is just huge across the board.
Well, see how this pistol starts off. Looks like Grayhound are actually looking to play fairly aggro. Malta already pushing down middle, getting some positioning there. Urcast having a bit of a push through the apartments. It hasn't necessarily worked out too nicely unless Malta doubles down here, which he can't. But I think you can already immediately see the mentality that Grayhound is going into this game with, where they want to play aggressively, they want to put Ground Zero under pressure.
Yeah, they just want to bully them out of the game and get things over with fairly quickly, I would imagine. Sicko is going to be the main person on the bomb site here. Dick Stacey actually has come over from B to join him, and Ground Zero just slowing things down, seeing if they can get even bigger of an advantage here.
Well, Sicko may well shut this one down, and he does. 2 kills straight off the bat, but Dick Stacey has fallen, and Sicko's not in a position really here where he can play around, so Extinct is just going to shut him out. But, I mean, I almost felt like that was actually a round that Grayhound was going to win from that 4v2 position.
Potentially could have been the case if Sicko hits a couple more shots. And here we go, Grayhound just buying straight into this round. Mag 7 for Malta, smokes and flashes across the board. Sicko's got himself a scout. This is danger territory here for Ground Zero, particularly on a map like Inferno, where if you delay your opponents with the smokes and stuff like that and cut down the angles that you have to be taking these engagements on, then this is definitely winnable for the CT side. So Ground Zero, they need to make sure that they use their utility to be able to get map control at the right parts and just really cut down the risk of losing this round. Because if they take it for granted, they could quickly be out of this one.
This could be a one and done for Malta, and it is. The headshot, the Mag 7. You're not going to survive that one, Burn, and unfortunately no trade potential.
And look at how much this speeds up Ground Zero towards this B bomb site, but Urcast is in the perfect position. Counter flash out from the man as well.
Now this is exactly what you expect to see out from Grayhound as well. You give them an inch and they're going to take a mile. Dick Stacey finds 2. Obviously tries to pick up that third one as well. Moe will shut it down, but he's locked behind the smoke. The bomb's in the B site. Sure, there's a lot of time to play with here for Moe, and he still has a lot of utility. But realistically, the chances of this round now very much have swung in the favor of Grayhound. More information there, more time bought for Grayhound. Moe is like a cat caged in a pen or something, you know, like he just can't go anywhere.
Yeah. Throws the smoke out towards CT, but at this point it's really just how many of these CTs can he potentially kill. Grayhound, they don't want to overextend, they just want to keep their money nice and clean. Close out the rest of this round. There you go, Urcast looks like he's going to be doing it with the crab walk. And that's a 3K from the man, I think, or maybe Dick Stacey got 2, but...
Dick Stacey did get 2.
Yeah, really, what that came down to was Ground Zero, they spread out for that default, waiting around, but Malta, as soon as he gets that Mag 7 kill, it pushes the rest of those players to speed things up Nana, as they've lost that carpet area, they've lost a lot of map control and information, and that's going to inform Greyhound's rotates going further into the round, but like I said before, as soon as you throw down that smoke, as soon as you get those counter flashes out, it makes it extremely difficult for the Ts to do anything, even if they have the superior weaponry.
Yeah, and you can see obviously how much that's helped out the buy here for Grayhound. A couple of AKs going over to Urcast and Dick Stacey. Now, for their own right, Ground Zero have actually kind of force-bought into this round. They don't want to really relinquish control of this map just yet.
Yeah, they're trying to get straight back into things, but unfortunately, Grayhound, they're not really giving them many opportunities to find kills with these pistols. They're allowing Ground Zero to take this carpet control, just picking out their heels a little bit. And Grayhound, very well aware that Ground Zero are trying to force up this bracket area.
That's a very, very scary kind of a crossfire there as well, if Sicko were to hold the line onto jungle. But it's actually Dexter that'll be solo holding from the cutout, at least on that side for now, as sort of Sicko just sort of, he like floats backwards and forwards between the angles.
Urcast is cheated over here as well.
Ooh, wow.
That's a nice shot from Extinct.
Can't get a second one though. Urcast ready and waiting, and now the job is there for Malta. And he's going to do it quite easily indeed. Moe, again, chiming in with a nice shot from the Deagle, but I'm just not sure that it's going to be enough here against Grayhound, who have got the numbers now. They're sort of secure in their positions. Yep. They know where Moe is. Sure, a couple of nice shots from from Ground Zero, but a couple of nice shots is not going to win you this map. It's not going to win you this series.
No, definitely not. They made it a little bit expensive for Grayhound, but only 2 guns lost against a full investment for Ground Zero. You're going to be totally fine with that over on the side of Grayhound. Now Ground Zero going to have to take an eco, and that's going to allow Grayhound to build up their money nicely, assuming that they're not getting glocked. And Extinct, he's just going to buy up 2 flashes. Ground Zero going to be looking into the next round to get the AKs and armor. And Grayhound just want to make this nice and clean to build up their economy on the CT side and keep things nice and healthy in terms of the money.
A little bit of a push down banana here for Grayhound, but it is Sicko, the player with the SMG, that's going to be leading the charge. So realistically, if this gun does actually fall, not a big issue for Grayhound.
He's just trying to supplement his ult fund. Flashes come out for Ground Zero.
And Malta, Stacy helping each other out. And Sicko, of course, as I said, the one pushing down banana, he's able to clean things up with that SMG. And as you said, build up the fund for the AWP. So things looking great here for Grayhound right now. 4 kills onto the SMG. That's about as good as that round is going to go.
7 grand in the bank, 5 alive for Grayhound. So now Ground Zero, they're going to have to come back into this game the hard way. They did get the pistol round, but that's about all they've been given at this point. You're going to have to win a couple rounds back-to-back to be able to put this Grayhound economy back in the bin, because look at the money on some of these players.
I mean, and the thing is, Sicko hasn't even bought into this either. So it's like, it's even, in a sense, almost a bonus round, it feels like, for Grayhound here.
Still got those 2 AKs that they picked up in that second round. For Spy and Dexter, pushing one of those players out middle. The utility just doing so much damage for Grayhound. Already Ground Zero. They've lost control of Banana. They've lost their player. MoeCQ's lost a bunch of his HP, and they're in a terrible position. They're getting bullied into this T-stairs area.
I think Moe's lost his sanity there as well, based on what was just going on his screen.
So Ground Zero in this 4-on-5, they're just trying to make their way up this bracket area. As they have lost control of Nana, they're going to leave on the side of Grayhound. Dick Stacy to just jump spot and get Sicko over there towards the A bomb site. Ground Zero making their way through carpet and bracket, while Moe tries to put a little bit of pressure on Dick Stacy here, but he's not scared. Uses the off angle to perfection and punishes Moe for trying to make his way up banana. Yeah,
so 2-player advantage here for Grayhound. I really like how things are looking for them in this particular round. Not to mention the fact that there's now some late round utility that's going to go down. 50 seconds on the clock. It's just going to put even a little more pressure onto Ground Zero. Now, with that said, Urcast, he's still got himself an incendiary here. So as soon as Ground Zero really start trying to push into this bomb site, you'll be seeing that one throw down as well. And the fact that Dexter's able to get one onto Void really just compounds the issues here for Ground Zero. He's going to peek off the back of the pop flash, but won't be able to finish too much off. Still, he's done his job. He's got the info there for Grayhound. And now it is just Zemp that's alive on the site. But a winnable situation for him in the 1v2.
100%. You've seen so many players win with the AKs by playing around these boxes, but he's actually had a bit of an off angle. Dick Stacy doesn't expect it. Gets both of them, Jordan. Unbelievable. But unfortunately, at this point, with 1 alive for Ground Zero, look at their money. 3.2k, 3.3k, 3.5k for Burn. Only Void can really... He's even having to go down to the Galil as well. And Grayhound, they're totally fine in terms of the cash. You said they picked up those AKs. They used the MP9 in the bonus round to be able to... keep Sicko's money nice and high, and they're going to be able to buy perfectly fine into this one. It's only really Dexter who's suffering in terms of the money.
Well, that never really should have been a winnable round for Ground Zero, given the way that it started. So in a sense, it's actually kind of good to see that go the way of Ground Zero.
Yeah, the best case scenario is still terrible for Ground Zero, though. Yeah. Like, they're on the edge of having their money broken. But equally on the side of Grayhound, if Ground Zero do manage to make this one work, and they're going to go for a quick one up this A bomb site, but they're getting picked apart in bracket, Jordan.
Yeah, once again, that crossfire. It's Dexter and Sicko who are able to cause the problems here for Ground Zero. Slowed things down now as well quite significantly with all the utility that has come out from the CT side. Ground Zero just sort of evaluating their options. Where do we go from here? Well, the pop flash around the corner, that's not going to do too much. Sicko ready and waiting. Zemp goes down. Now the peek from Dick Stacy. He actually doesn't manage to hit the shots that he really needs there. In fact, maybe didn't hit any shots, but that's the story for another day. Ground Zero will still make their way toward the A-bomb side.
And this is a very strong crossfire between Malta and Dexter. Sicko even posted from that library area, but he has been smoked off.
Well, Malta's going to get one, and he's still a problem there in the pit for Void. So nicely done from Malta cleaning things up. Very good round, actually, in the grand scheme of things for Grayhound here. 3 players alive. You build that money up again or a little bit, or at least you stop it from falling.
Yep.
And it's, of course, an economy-breaking round onto Ground Zero.
100%, yeah. You keep a reasonable amount of guns alive to make sure the money's at least halfway decent heading into this anti-eco, and as long as you don't lose too many rifles to the pistols, you're in a very, very good position heading into the next gun round and heading into the rest of the half as well.
Well, Sicko certainly taking this game into his own hands here. as soon as he had the AWP, Pilly, we've really seen a total annihilation of Ground Zero. Every opening frag, it seems to go the way of Sicko.
Yeah, and when we watched him in AUNZ, I don't know, I didn't see his performances at Cobex though, but you know, we were thinking this isn't even peak Sicko yet. We haven't even made our way to peak Sicko.
No, I mean the peak Sicko really, in my mind, was like when he just joined Order.
Yeah.
Or Kings, really, even at the time.
Yeah,
Like he
Kings
was
as
just
well.
absolutely smashing
Kings
everything.
definitely, yeah. Just one of the top-rated players in the region.
Yeah, I still don't think he's kind of hit that same kind of a form here with Grayhound just yet. Bit of a whiff there from Urcast. Let's not touch on that for too long because Dick Stacey's trying to do the cleanup, and he'll get 2.
They shouldn't even be losing this many guns, to be honest, pardon me. But Grayhound, 3 alive again. It's acceptable result for them. Over on the side of Ground Zero, see how they go. Going to be buying up into this round in particular. Grayhound has been putting a lot of pressure on Banana and a lot of utility pressure down towards that T steps. So Ground Zero, I mean, with the limited weaponry and half okay buy that they had last time, they really tried to force things up bracket. This time they've got the AWP on Zemp, so they might try to slow down things a little bit more. And you see the patience from Sicko this time around. Doesn't actually peek down into T-stairs. Oh, finds the timing on Burn and picks him off in second mid. Zemp never even had an opportunity to be able to stop him from coming down onto that angle.
Urcast, that's nice. The
Yeah.
double nade, in fact, I think it was. Going to do quite a significant amount of damage to Ground Zero, and the smoke as well will stop the progression. If it doesn't, Urcast certainly will, holding around the corner.
Yeah, Ground Zero, they're in a decent scenario. They're really trying to force this Nana control because it's the main talking point for them at the moment. And they do get it indeed, but only 2 smokes and a flash for Ground Zero to be able to close out the rest of this round. And Urcast is so dangerous on top of this second Oranges area.
What can Moe do as well?
Ooh, he could actually be the difference maker here for sure if he's able to sneak his way through jungle.
It's all about the timing. Smoke's going to start to come across onto the B bomb site here for Ground Zero. You can see Sicko is starting to peek the line. It's whether or not he actually checks it properly and sees Moe, which he won't. I'm not sure that Moe saw Sicko there either, or perhaps he did see a gun barrel, something. Because he's definitely looking in that direction.
The nade could get extinct, and it will, I think.
Oh, in fact, actually gets void as well. A nice entry from Zemp, but he still has another player on the bomb site to deal with. And Moe's all the way on A, should get Sicko here, and will. But it all just falls apart a little bit here for Ground Zero as the timing is playing against them.
If they're able to get a nice shot onto Malta here, though. Nice flashbang actually sets up Moe to be able to pick that. Nice work from Zeph, throwing that over the top, and that actually might be the round for Ground Zero.
Oh, you say that. They haven't actually got off the bomb site just yet, and Urcast is taking a very nice angle.
Ooh, carpets, yeah. But definitely catches opponents off guard with this one.
That flashbang as well, going to give him a little bit of info. Zemp not watching the balcony at all, nor is Moe at this point. So Urcast is going to be given a lot of room to work with for free. But the problem is he still hasn't found anyone. And he has to drop, has to give away his position. And now, obviously, that tips the scales in the favor of Ground Zero. Sooner or later, he's going to find Zemp, but he still needs to deal with Moe. And unless he hits the maddest flick of all time, or Moe doesn't peak, the round's going to go the way of Ground Zero. So difficult one for Urcast. If he would have worked maybe 2 or 3 seconds faster there and gotten Zemp before Moe, could have got that rotate up through carpets. Maybe something was in that one for him, but...
Excellent work from Zemp. What a clutch flashbang that was. And Moe also lurking into that bracket area makes the mid-round call that they need for Ground Zero to be able to come away with that round. And look at Greyhound's money. They're going to have to take a save into this next one. And Ground Zero, you know, from a position that we were painting where they were having a bit of a rough time, they were able to actually convert these critical rounds, get enough damage done with the pistols to be able to keep Greyhound's economy honest, and have put themselves in a scenario where they're trading rounds on the T side, which on Inferno you've got to be pretty happy with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Again, you've got to remember, this is Ground Zero's map pick, so they want to be having a bit of an impact here that you might not necessarily expect out of them on, say, Nuke or maybe even Mirage to an extent, right? If you're going to win one map in the entire series, of course, you'd hope it would be your own map. And they've already shown the ability to do that against Grayhound. Sure, Grayhound may have had a bit of jet lag. They may have come back from an event that same day, but nonetheless, the ability is there for Ground Zero. And they're making some decent inroads into Grayhound. Right now, I still would favor Grayhound. I still think that they have the edge. But if we see another few rounds go the way of Ground Zero in the fashion in which they have been going, then you can start to think, okay, Ground Zero's got a real solid chance in actually picking this one up.
Yeah, and it's good to just see them keep this series nice and competitive, and this map nice and competitive in particular. So ground zero, they've made the correct call, but doesn't mean that the round's over just yet. See how many of these Grayhound players come up banana and are able to pick away some of the guns of ground zero and on the exits.
Burn with the Galil is not the highest of prizes here for Grayhound. But if they do actually get Burn, that will be a gun. I mean, it's difficult for Void to even trade from the position that he's in right now, although I think Burn's probably done enough to make it too difficult for Grayhound. With that said, Dexter will get a couple, and that may well be an AK for Ocas. It is. Dexter's going to fall, but I think Ocas is going to get away with this AK, so all things considered, fairly successful round actually for Grayhound.
Yeah, considering that ground zero didn't bite the bait on that A stack. It's totally fine that they're still able to get 2 guns away, particularly the rifles. Extinct is going to keep that Mac 10 over, and the main things that the main talking points there for ground zero is the fact that Moe and Zemp are able to hold on to their weaponries. So now Grayhound with a pretty good buy into this one, lots of augs across the board, plenty of utility for all the lads, and the AWP for Sicko, which is actually going to take towards this banana area, change things up a little bit. Over on the side of ground zero, have left the Bond in spawn, but Void is going to set these players up into Nana with flashes, but they're not quick enough. He doesn't throw them from the back of T-stairs, Jordan. He actually runs up T-stairs and throws them afterwards, which allows Sicko enough time to actually pick Extinct.
Does Malta know Moe is this close? Well, he certainly expects it.
Drive-by.
Yeah, I don't know. Malta seems to be feeling it today, though. We've seen a couple of good rounds out from him thus far. Burn with it all to do here, making his way toward the A bomb site. 2 players in pit. That one Molotov is not going to be enough to flush them out. When I say in pit, it's Malta up on the balcony, but may as well be as much of a problem for ground zero as a player in pit. In fact, it's probably even worse for ground zero that Malta's up here, because there's just another angle that they have to check, and Dexter gets the first, Malta the second, and all 3 will go down. And a good round out for Grayhound, where they finally sort of consolidate themselves on that CT side.
Yeah, so awkward money situation for ground zero, especially off the back of losing those 2 guns on the T side. You can see the effects of that on their economy if they're able to hold on to that Galil and AK. Void and Moe would definitely have a lot more cash here. But regardless, they're going to buy up. It's a decent buy. You're talking about the CZs and armor. If you get them into the close quarters scenarios up against these CTs, they could definitely make a good run at this round in particular. Being shut out of banana again, and Sicko.
He's been watching some nifty VODs.
Maybe.
Just practicing for the nifty 50 at IEM Sydney. It's a nice grenade, tickling Burn and Extinct. And Dick Stacey on a bit of an off angle, not expecting to see that one burn. This grenade may well get Extinct, but he does back away.
Ground zero, they're getting bullied out of this round by utility, basically, unfortunately. And they just don't have the utility or the economy to be able to contend with Grayhound at the moment. And unfortunately, they have lost a player, almost 2 players. They've lost full control of this banana. They don't really have any control of bracket. The only talking point is really Zemp, who's just now taken the end of carpet. So unfortunately, at this point, it's going to have to be a couple of key flashes for Grayhound and some really sharp entries. Otherwise, this crossfire is going to be too much for them to handle on the A-bomb site.
Yeah, then the onus in that case is on Moe and Zemp. But not a lot of time to work with. That said, Zemp does have a nice position here to get a couple of flashbangs out, but with the smoke going down, that's going to make his life more difficult. Flashbang through here as well, buying even more time.
Look at the nades as well. Dexter's still got a full kit of nades on this dig area. He can counter flash from Malta towards the end of the round. He can drop the smoke. So he's dropping the nade into carpet, chipping even more damage away from these ground zero players.
Yeah, fantastic utility usage here from Grayhound so far. And it almost seems like ground zero is too scared to make their way on the bomb site. And there may be a good reason for that, because Malta has just set himself up. What a turret in the pit. And that's 3 kills for him. Grayhound go up to 7.
And that's why you don't see T-sides who have very, very limited utility play a slower game usually, because they usually will just get bullied out of the round by the utility usage from the CT side. All those nades and Molotovs towards T-spawn, towards that banana area, as well as, you know, you got Sicko on the AWP that you don't really have the extra flashbangs to be making sure you're flashing him off the angle. And right from the get-go, Grayhound, they knew exactly what areas of the map ground zero were in. They'd taken that Nana control. They still had some info on bracket thanks to Sicko's AWP, so they know these guys have to be in carpet. They're just dropping smokes, dropping nades on top of these ground zero players, playing anti-flash for when those flashes do come out over the top of carpet, and they just pick them apart quite easily. And look at their money as a result of that.
Yeah, Urcast may well find Moe here, although he'll have to deal with the double peak, and that's not too fun at all for him. Dick Stacey cannot offer enough backup. So is that gun retrievable for ground zero? And if so, what can they do with it? Well, Dick Stacey's holding the line, runs out of ammo, but Zem finally finishes him off. One more bullet would have finished Zemp off, and that probably would have been the round as well. But it's Dexter here on the B side, and he should be able to clean this one up, no problems at all. Bomb plant cannot go down. Just Void now, as the flashbangs do come through to try and dissuade him from the B site.
Feels like just a matter of time, but at least ground zero, they're going to be able to buy up into this round. Void.
It's like literally, there's like, I don't know, every time he looks at the B bomb site, there's just this white light.
Yeah.
It's like the light at the end of the tunnel, you know? Like if you're dying and you're trying to come back to life, the white light. Yeah. Every time you turn in that direction.
I think it was the opposite, unfortunately, because every time we went towards
maybe that analogy fell flat in that respect.
Oh well. Hopefully, ground zero they can pick things up a little bit more. I mean, they got a couple nice rounds. They won that nice 2-on-2. They got the pistol, but unfortunately, at this point, it really feels like Greyhound's completely on top of things. They've got full control of their economy, and a pretty huge utility advantage at this point. So ground zero now. Playing retake on that Nana for the time being. They're going to make their way into Boiler. I think Dexter's going to may get a little aggressive in towards Carpet in the mid round. No, instead he's actually just going to fall off back to the bomb site. Ooh. Over here towards Banana. Dick Stacey and Urcast want to be taking control and getting information in that part of the map, but instead they're just going to be smoking off the top and running down the timer a little bit more. Ground zero now taking control of this bracket area.
I mean, I think again that utility usage is where Greyhound have been able to find so many advantages, so it's no real surprise to see Greyhound putting a premium on that as opposed to trying to take the aim duels. Has allowed ground zero actually to go across here. Sicko, he will spot one. I don't know if that necessarily gives the information over to Greyhound, but the push into Banana is going to help. Urcast is down on the B side, so Dick Stacey needs to go big, and he does. That was one avenue of attack for ground zero that has now been completely isolated, not to mention the bomb now in control of Greyhound as well. Dick Stacey may well have single-handedly won this round for Greyhound.
Well, not single-handedly. Urcast set him up beautifully with the flashbangs, which have just been the bane of ground zero's existence at this point. Even though they did have some talking points, using their utility nicely to be able to take bracket and push Sicko off the ankle and then getting burned into CT spawn. Unfortunately, as soon as they, like you said, got shut down on Banana by Dick Stacey and the assisting flashbang for Urcast, that's all there really was in that round.
Like, that was looking so bad for Greyhound. As soon as Urcast goes down in the B bomb site, if Dick Stacey doesn't get probably all three players in Banana there, ground zero's getting a bomb plant, and then who knows what happens from there.
Oh, now ground zero going to be going with those pistols. Actually, the last time these two guys played on this map and ground zero was able to win it, it's because they were allowed to start on their CT side, even though it was their map pick. Greyhound picked to the T side. And this time, Greyhound's done the opposite. They don't want to let them get into their comfort zone. Extinct gets a quick headshot onto Malta there, so that could be pretty good if they're able to find the timing onto Dexter. But look at the rotates coming out.
I was going to say, they just pulled a massive rotate across on the B side, with good reason.
Yeah, well, Urcast has full control. He's smoked off the bottom. Sicko is probably not getting caught out of position here.
No, certainly not with the backup of a teammate there. It's Dick Stacey that will fall. But the job probably is done there for Greyhound, right? They've avoided the real danger moments where ground zero really could have sort of exploded onto the bomb site. Now that Sicko's been given time to set himself, he's managed to double down, in fact triple down, and that makes the job easy for Urcast to finish off.
Yep.
Sure, a lot of guns lost there for Greyhound, but their economy is well and truly...
It's the end of the half anyway. Yeah. They're totally fine. They're going to be buying up the AUGs into this one. Over on ground zero, a nice clean full utility gun round for both teams with the AWPs on the AWPers heading into the last round of the half. Let's see what the approach is going to be for ground zero. Looks like they're going to be fighting for this Nana control with the utility. No, they're making their way very quickly up second mid and bracket, trying to put a lot of pressure on Sicko. They will push him off the line.
He's definitely feeling something with those fighter sensors. The smoke to go down.
Looks like ground zero are going to go for a quick one onto the A bomb site here, potentially. They were lining up that photo smoke.
Sicko's so aware, and if Dick Stacey just spams through the smoke here, or rather Dexter spams through the smoke.
Just ground zero, they're running through Molotovs, they're getting flashbang, Dexter's shooting them in the side through a smoke. It's like, what can you do?
I mean, Greyhound just far too prepared, far too... mean, I suppose they somehow they knew. Somehow they knew.
Well, they're just playing reactively. They know that Ground Zero is desperate for rounds, and they're struggling to take this Nana control. Bomb will go down in the back of the bomb side, and Extinct is in halls. He's going to have to do the big brunt of the work here for Ground Zero if they're going to make this round competitive and winnable. Grayhound all retaking in from the dig side. How's he getting away with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, to an extent, he kind of got away with it, but not for long enough. As Dick Stacey will grab 2, and that'll win the round for Grayhound. Overall, I mean, I think that's a pretty solid first half. 11-4, you can't complain about it.
Ground Zero got the pistol. They won that key 2v2. But apart from that, as soon as Grayhound got their economy under control, they pretty much shut them down.
All right, we're going to head to a quick break, guys. Don't go anywhere. Second half coming up after this.
On my own, when you spill that rum and coke on my t-shirt, yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high-pitched feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Riverside. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby, you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the ANZ Pro League, well, the ESL Pro League ANZ division. This is the second group, and right now we're taking a peek at Grayhound and Ground Zero. The odds were 1.03 for Grayhound when we went into this
You were
map.
saying they could barely have gotten worse.
Well,
but
they
there you go.
literally can't get lower now. You literally can't go below 0.01. So basically, according to this, Grayhound's going to 100% win this map.
Well, I would say that's pretty likely as well, although the real danger half for Ground Zero the last time these two teams played was the CT side. And it was Zemp having a really, really good performance on that half in particular, and really everyone just contributing across the board. So that's what we're really going to have to look for if you're on Ground Zero. The problem is that with an 11-4 scoreline already coming out for a team like Grayhound, if they win the pistol, then number one, you're talking about a 12-4 lead where Ground Zero, they're going to be struggling to get their economy going. If they take the single save, they go on to 4K, which won't get them the AWP, for example, the utility that they need to be able to hold back this Grayhound T side. And then maybe they could force and go for that third round, but at that point, you're looking at a very, very close scoreline where if you make one mistake, the map's over. So I feel like this pistol's a must-win for Ground Zero.
Well, I don't think anyone would necessarily disagree with you, to be honest, Billy.
It's just because of they need the AWP on Zemp, they need the utility, but not only that, it's the scoreline factor, right? They just didn't get enough rounds on their T side, which is crazy because it felt like they were getting some good licks in here and there.
Yeah,
they had some good 2v2s.
I think the thing is, though, like once Greyhound sort of established themselves and really started to get comfortable into this series, you know, maybe started to really properly warm up and start communicating again, you know, then like after that first initial probably 7 or 8 rounds, it was just all Greyhound, right? And that was more so what we expected to see from the outset. But I have always kind of felt like Greyhound is a kind of a team that takes, you know, a quarter a game or a half a game to sort of really get into it. And that is sometimes why you see them sort of drop map 1 or have a closer scoreline on map 1. But then sort of map 2, I always feel like they're just like, bam, okay, this series is ours, 16-4 here. Maybe that's not even going to be the case here for Greyhound. Like, it already seems like they've really established themselves and may well close this map out very quickly. But I guess it all depends on this pistol initially.
All right, very slow approach from Greyhound. They're just going to hold on to this banana control with the head start, make sure no one's peeking into a mid, and then Malta's being the man who's keeping an eye on apartments, make sure no one's getting cheeky, pushing down that part of the map. Over on Ground Zero, it's a 4-man stack towards this A bomb site with just Zemp shoulders peeking this banana area. I'm imagining that he's probably going to be pushed off that part of the map at some point by Greyhound because they have a fair bit of utility. But this is the opportunity if Zemp gets a key pick over towards banana here.
Well, that's going to be easier said than done, Pilly. He's down to 5 HP now. 7 HP, really, but
I like
what's
this.
the difference?
I love this from Greyhound. They tag him up. They know how low he is, and that's going to force to rotate. Then just one flash to make sure no one's re-peeking the top of banana, and they go straight back towards this A-bomb site.
Yeah, they've also left Dexter there just to see what kind of damage he can swindle, or perhaps even just presence on the B-bomb site. Doesn't necessarily need to be damage. But the entry is going to come out here onto the A-bomb site, and Greyhound quite safely into pit. Malta does go 1 for 1, but the site is in the control of the T side. And in the meanwhile, we have seen that rotation come across from both the T and not necessarily all of the CTs of Ground Zero, as we still wait for Zemp to get over to the A site. Whatever the case, it's a 4v2. Zemp's on 7 HP. There's no utility.
Well. Yeah.
And realistically, this is Greyhound's round to lose.
Yep, worst case scenario for Ground Zero. So now I really think Ground Zero in this round in particular probably just has to force and try to win it. Even if they don't win it next round, they take the save and then they can buy into the round following with full utility as well as the AWP on Zemp. If they take the single save here, they're probably not going to have the money to give an AWP over to Zemp unless he's going to glass cannon, and they won't really have the utility to be able to play into the late round going up against Greyhound, unfortunately. So it's pretty much a situation where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah. Who knows, maybe this stack will work out. Maybe Greyhound, with all their great reads on the CT side, may not be able to make the correct reads on the T side. Already putting a bit of presence over toward B, but they haven't yet committed to it, nor have they committed to the A site. So right now, the information is quite lacking for the Ts.
Yeah, they're just going to probe through carpet, though. Aircast in particular can try to see if anyone's over here towards the bracket area.
This is nice trigger discipline from Ground Zero, deciding not to peek, but they have been found out, and Sicko cleans them all up. Dexter saves him. In the end, that could have been dangerous for Greyhound, right? They sort of walked their way out onto the site.
And Sicko still just gets a whole bunch of kills, a whole bunch of money for his ult fund, if he even wants one. Now Ground Zero are going to be buying up into this one. See Void, a lot of these guys going for the head armor because they know that the SMGs are a factor for Greyhound, which is going to take away from their utility even more. So yeah, only Extinct has a Molotov, which on the CT side of Inferno, that's a pretty tough time. And this is a must win here for Ground Zero, or Grayhound will be on map point. See Grayhound zooming their way up towards this A bomb site, going to be making a pretty quick inroads over there, and that's a really, really nice exchange of damage already for Grayhound as they're going to be forcing their way up bracket.
I mean, look at the utility advantage here for Grayhound, really. They can just play that slow game.
100%. They're just going to suck the life out of Ground Zero, and then they can pretty much do whatever they want in towards the late round. They've got control of bracket. They've got control over here towards Banana.
And the utility out onto the A bomb site, trying to force some counter utility. Doesn't look like it has, actually.
Yeah.
Still hanging on to the smokes, the incendiaries, although there are a couple of them from Extinct over onto the B site, so not necessarily a factor. Here on A, it's 2 smokes and a flashbang for Ground Zero.
Yeah, this could be very, very difficult. The thing is that Grayhound doesn't actually have very good flashes at the moment, so they're just going to contact out Dig and Carpet, it looks like.
Malta will get a very nice incendiary down here, although the smoke will keep Void alive. Zemp also starts off well. It's a good chance here for Ground Zero now, and it's all down to Dexter to really come up with the goods, and he does, as you have come to expect from watching Dexter in the past.
The problem is that there's no kit here for Ground Zero. Dexter's picked up another smoke that he can use to refresh that Moto smoke area, and Ground Zero, they basically just got to run into this bomb site without any information because they don't have the kit to be able to slow things down.
The incendiary is nice here for Extinct, though, so let's see where that does end up landing. It's going to push Sicko forward, although I'm not sure that Extinct will necessarily expect him in this position. The smoke's giving him a lot of cover to work with. Extinct somehow doesn't manage to find Sicko, and what is that? How does Sicko get both the kills?
Unfortunately, Ground Zero, the no kit there really is what kills them. You talk about having to really cut your corners in terms of what utility you're buying, in terms of buying the head armor, because you know Grayhound has the SMGs. You didn't have any money for the kits, and unfortunately, that's just what's going to happen. Ground Zero, they made the decision to buy up into that round after losing the pistol, and it didn't work out for them, and that's pretty much going to be the end of the game, or at least Grayhound onto map point before they can get their first proper buy-in with all the kits and utility and the AWP, which was the thing that was what gave Grayhound trouble in the first place the last time they played.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly not a position that you want to be in. I think it's pretty evident that for Grayhound, this is actually a very important match, right? You sometimes look at a team like Grayhound and see them sort of messing around a little bit, dropping maps, dropping series to, I mean, not
dropping
necessarily
guns to pistols.
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily in the case of series, though. Maybe I speak too soon. But definitely dropping maps to teams where the stakes are not so high, right? But I think when you're considering this is potentially a spot at ESL Pro League finals for them, they want to pretty much win every map and match out fairly comfortably. Not give it any room for doubt. Again, Sicko's just on point today as well. He's 25 and 8, Pilly. And he is like a headshot machine right now.
Wants to keep getting that rating up to where it used to be. I think the last team that went, the Grayhound went to an MDL. The last team that went to a Pro League finals from Oz was definitely Order at Katowice, wasn't it?
Order no, it wasn't Katowice, was it?
I think it was.
Odense?
Odense? Who was at Odense? Was that Order?
Order, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
So I know there was Grayhound that went to Dallas, and then I think Order went to the next one, which I'm pretty sure was Odense.
Yep.
And now we're here.
Okay.
That
cool.
would have been Season 7, Season 8, and now we're in Season 9.
Was that Liaz Order, or was that?
Yes.
Okay.
From memory it was.
Cool. All right.
Oh. Actually, it may not have been. I don't think it was. Whatever the case.
I'm just thinking about it because I'm keen to see who actually makes it through this time around to represent our region. Regardless though, Ground Zero, this is the round where we need to be paying attention. Despite the fact that they are 15-4 down, they actually do have a very good buy, which was what gave Grayhound a lot of trouble. They got the double AWP set up on Zemp and Moe, but Zemp knows that as soon as he makes a mistake that this is the end of the game, so he's not going to be playing that same aggressive style that we saw from him the last time these two teams played. This guy was just wide peeking into middle and getting all kinds of frags on these Grayhound players.
Urkas needs to be careful poking his butt out like that, but he's going to be okay.
There's a missed opportunity for Zeph, unfortunately. So Grayhound, they do have this banana control. They have carpet as well. They're now starting to put some pressure on brackets.
Good bit of utility going down there for Ground Zero as well, but Grayhound still managed to find the opener.
That's just 2 missed opportunities for Ground Zero from Burn and Zemp, and unfortunately they even lose the first pick, so this is going from bad to worse here for Ground Zero. They're starting to run out of utility. Grayhound have all of banana and bracket. They can split B. They can do whatever they want to Ground Zero at this point.
And that's exactly what they are doing. They're literally doing whatever they want. A big 3-2 split for Grayhound, keeping pressure on both of the bomb sites. Not too much time left, though, so Grayhound inevitably are going to have to make their moves. That Incendiary has gone into the smoke, so that's gone from bad to worse for Ground Zero. At the very least, Zemp does pose a threat on A. The full rotation is coming across, and to see him hold this one solo with the orb, it seems unrealistic. Well, he has managed to find Dick Stacey on the B bomb side as well, which does relieve some pressure here onto the A players. Nonetheless, the bomb is going down, but some crucial damage being done here by Ground Zero has actually put it into a 2v2, but Zemp, with a nil-time push through the smoke, may well have lost the map.
Yeah, there's no utility here for Ground Zero in the late round. They only have the kit on Extinct, Malta and Dexter in some great post-plant positions. It's going to be very difficult for Ground Zero to come away with this one, unfortunately.
Certainly is. The smoke does fade, and straight away, Malta finds one and a second. That'll be the map, I should say, over for Grayhound. They pick it up 16-4, very, very clean